Hello and welcome to Workhorse Wrestling Network. You are gathered with us tonight for the Cookout podcast where we talk about what's cooking up in the world of professional wrestling.
Yes, as always, we are here on Tuesday night. It is 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. We expect Anika to be with us at some point this evening. Until then, we're going to get Dolores filling in for CM. She's going to do Clown of the Week this week. So we'll let her go ahead and give us her Clown of the Week, and then she's going to get out of here. And me and Sammy are going to drone on at you for a little bit until Anika gets here. And then the three of us will hopefully have some inspired conversation about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. So, Miss Dolores, without further ado, you want to give us your clown of the week?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, my clown of the week is Chumpomania, aka I'm a real fake again, fighting for the rights of all the Caucasians again. Okay, it is that red and yellow man. I'm not even gonna call him by his name because at this point we know he's just not just a trash wrestler, but a trash human being at this point. And he showed his true colors like no other before. If you know, you know, and we know who we talking about. I give him clown of the week because I'm tired of everybody giving him the benefit of the doubt. Oh my God, he saved somebody, but he said some trash stuff along with it. Oh my God, he saved the business with the leg drop. But some of you people want to talk about Rey Mysterio, but you ain't gonna talk about how a leg drop supposedly saved the business. Get your stuff together. I am sick and tired of you people, and I mean you people, anybody who likes this man, fighting for him when he ain't gonna fight for you because he don't like you. Again, clown of the week, Chumpomania, the real fake again.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, that's a perfect chump of the week. When I saw that whole thing at the Republican National Convention, I mean, I'd already, was already done with him, but it's just further, I mean, just it's unreal. But then I'll be honest with you, and I know that I live somewhat under a rock, so I'm not going to lie about that. I don't pay enough attention. No pun intended. I did see after that. I don't know if it was it wasn't a meme. It was like an actual like reporting of The Rock saying that he was the one that told Hogan to do that at the Republican, and apparently he is also a Trump
Yeah,
supporter. So
yeah, yeah. The Rock is low key about his because he
yeah,
knows we're going to tear him apart. So he
yeah,
keeps it quiet. Whereas the red and yellow man can't control himself. And
yeah.
he says and does inappropriate things constantly. I mean, anybody find it interesting that most of his wives have been the age of his daughter?
Right.
Seems a little creepy, but it seems like him and that one eared man seem to get along when it comes to messing around with people that kids age.
Yeah. Well, now that I know, I'm not doing the Rock no more either. I mean, I don't, anyone that supports him, I'm done with. So
I
that's
draw a
that's
line when it comes to you can have your beliefs. You can feel that way. You could be on the other side of the aisle. I have no problem with that. My problem is when you become a trash human being and throwing
yeah,
out the N word, screwing somebody's wife and acting like it's normal. That when you're on a high and mighty horse,
That's how I
that's
feel,
when
is what
the
Dolores just said. Like, I couldn't care about anybody's political beliefs. It's how you
yeah,
feel.
like do you like? I don't have any problem with that. If that's what you believe it. Okay, it's the
I
part when you start disrespecting me and my race and the things that I believe in as a person that are set within me as a religious, non-religious person. That is what it is. I find it mighty ironic that these people who support this red man uh, did not listen to when he asked Christians to go out and vote. And if you slow the audio down, he says, I'm not a Christian, but I need Christians to come out and vote. That sounds like you all are voting for a man who don't believe what you believe.
yep, yep. And not to go too far down the rabbit hole, the only distinction I would make is that if your ideology is that I don't belong on this planet or that my who I am is not okay, then I don't care what then I do have a problem with your ideology, and I do have a problem with your beliefs. So,
Yeah,
uh,
it's like also it should be a clown of the decade for people who always want to scream out at me online or anywhere else. Go home. I live in Georgia. I was born here. I'm already here.
I would like to state, though, ALW, to me, that's not a
Yeah.
political belief. That's just racism. I don't care if you're left or you're right. I do not swing with racism. That's
No,
not
no, you're right.
acceptable
But
in any accord.
I mean, in my 47 years of life, it feels like there are more of those on the conservative side than on the. That's just my experience and on the progressive side. But
But
again,
I,
I mean, that's
I,
all
I would
opinion. That's
agree when I
all
was younger, I felt that
experience.
way, but I don't know. I
I
think the tide
think
might have turned on that one.
I think it is on the left side. It's more quiet. On the
Sure.
right side, it's more loud. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, I can see who you are. I know not to mess with that.
Mm-hmm.
I see the stove is on fire. I'm not gonna touch it. There's the
I hear you.
difference, and there's also a
Yeah.
difference that as a African American woman, that I cannot say things out loud that maybe ALW or Sammy can say, because if I say it, it's, oh, woe is me. Oh, she trying to use race bait. Whereas other people can say it and it is okay. So that's why I
Sure.
leave certain subjects to be said by ALW and Sammy, and I don't
Sure.
get into certain topics, because if I say it's racism, then all of a sudden you have people with pitchforks screaming and hollering.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. So that is the clown of the week. If you want to hang out with us, you can. Otherwise, we will see you next time. There he is one more time. He who shall not be named. Several. There we have several of those. He who shall not be named on this channel.
Yeah, so
I think my
every week to see him comes back, I'm gonna try to give y'all the actual picture with the
okay.
clown. He's in the circus,
I
because
will.
that's what that was.
I will say Jimmy Fallon did make a good joke about it, though.
I didn't hear it. What was it?
He said coming out to speak for Donald Trump was Hulk Hogan, and Biden, he had The Undertaker. And it's like,
Listen, no, listen, Biden. I just want to say, if you haven't seen, I enjoyed Miss Harris's rally today. We had Megan Thee Stallion and Quavo, young people who actually go out and stand there and vote. Because a lot of elderly people down here weren't able to do that. But since we have time, I would like to tell you something. It's not funny, okay? I slightly laughed, but it's not funny. A black lady was pulling in a handicapped spot somewhere, and she was about to turn in when two Caucasian Americans men pulled in the spot, got out, walked in the store. She waited 2 hours for them to come back out. She approached the driver. She asked him, was he handicapped? He said no. She blew both his kneecaps off and said, now you are. She proceeds to leave and get stopped by the police, and then it was just an accident. Shoots them, and when they actually detain her, she had a vest on, another pow, and explained that a lot of the shootings in America traumatized her, and that's why she actually shot the cops. But she was non-apologetic about shooting the man because he put in a handicapped spot and was not handicapped. But now he is.
I mean, sorry. It's not funny, but I'm
I'm
sorry.
like, you know what? I
the
know that
delivery was funny.
I don't like. Listen, I don't like to laugh and stuff like that normally, but it was the fact I can see her going, "Sir, are you handicapped?" And he go, "No," and she go, "Pop out," and then she said, "Now you are," and then walk slowly back to her car. She had enough time to walk slowly where they could call 911 and they pull up to the scene. So she creeped slowly back to her car. Mind you, this lady had a bulletproof vest on and stuff because she's an ex-Marine, old enough to be my grandma, but she was out there blowing kneecaps back. I listen. Sometimes people should learn that stop being in places and spaces you're not supposed to be in.
No, I mean it's not funny, and at the same time, like I just.
It's the unapologetic mugshot that got me.
Right.
I was like, okay. She was just like, I did what I did. It is what it is. And I was like,
Yeah.
you know what?
It-
As a disabled person, I have been in that predicament where you have to be 90 yards back when somebody who is able-bodied can get in a parking spot and get out. But that has never been my first thought to do that. In my mind, in the back of my mind, that might have been a dream, but never a reality I would actually make. She dreamt it, and she waited 2 hours to make it happen.
Right.
FAFO. He
Right.
FA'd and he found out.
Yeah. Yep. No, and the 2 hours, it makes it premeditated. Like that makes it a whole different. Like she thought about that. She planned. She sat there. She probably got madder by the minute.
I wonder if he came out in 10 minutes or like 3 minutes
Right. If
or
it
2
come out in like
minutes.
5 minutes or right, 5 or
Yeah,
10
well,
minutes,
she
she'd
just
have
been
been as
like,
hot.
okay, this is cool. But
Right.
it was the 2 hour wait that made this simmer. Also, ladies and gentlemen, on 10 Stars, I revealed why I do not like the girl that is behind ALW. It's a long-standing dislike for her character. Because if you all do not know, I watch weird stuff. And I watched WoW. And she was eye candy on WoW. She's
Interesting.
been this excitedly happy ever since WoW.
Interesting.
So I see why I don't like when she came out there. Yeah, candy.
Whenever you say it, it makes me want to quote Owen Wilson.
All right. Do you want to talk about that before Dishonor, Dolores?
Yes,
No?
I did watch it. We covered it on Thing Stars. I just want to say it was something. It was long.
It was something.
It was something. Not in a bad way, because I know people are like, oh, Dolores, you trash, no, not in that way. But in a way that it could have been concise a little bit better. It could have been cut down.
What did you think of the premiere of Mansois and Madden? Eminem.
On
the 0 hour.
I want to say that the makeup was done very nicely. Okay, first of all. Second of all, the fact that people had a problem with them perceiving to be out there in WWE, wait till you see them in Ring of Honor. They are full on out there. There's nothing to stop them. And so, again, Spanish Announce Project, at this point, we know you just some jobbers. You have no options. Marina, I want better for you. And that match, the fact that match was, and I'm looking at it, a minute long, was a waste of your time and mine.
Yeah.
I remember seeing a photo that they took with Tyler Breeze.
Yeah, see, it's the I just don't like when people are like, oh, certain people are misused in another company. It goes for both sides. And then they get into a company and they make them more than what they were before. But now because they're in a new company, oh my God. And then it's like everybody had high hopes of them going to main roster AEW, and then now they're ROH, and you like, come on. Can we just admit that both companies don't know how to use people correctly? And they weren't doing the greatest job. And I had this discussion too with another chat. If you look at indie work, I think that some companies just hear the uproar and they hire people without realizing why you fired them in the first place. Like Karrion Kross, literally. He came out, he looked cool, he wrestled cool. His character, lame as crap. He came back, gave you the same lame crap before. Eminem has been going around doing good tag work. but not nothing that will make me go, "Oh my god, I got to have them." Like it's just the hoopla of people feeling people have been done dirty and they want them to get a shot. But you need to stop being realistic. It's like Paige. Everybody wanted her back. WWE won't let her come back. Or Brian Danielson. Nobody won't let him come back. But now that you're saying that he can't, he has to wait and to have his like final match or whatever. Now you see why people are not letting people do certain things. It's not Paige was never good. We ranted and raved. We want Paige. Can't wait to Paige come back. And then she came back and it was like, why she don't get off our screen? This is the stop it at a certain point. Be realistic. If they sucked before, they sucked now. It's rarely that they change from being sucky.
I never ranted and raved for her, but you said something that's kind of struck a chord with me of like with AEW, like they honestly have too many talents, not enough hours in order to showcase them. Like most weeks, like you got people like Ray Phoenix who are relegated to Rampage because there's not enough time on Dynamite for him.
Well, he might be leaving. Him and Penta's contracts are up.
I mean,
So
some of that's booking also, but yes, I mean, there still is not enough TV time for everybody. There just isn't, you know.
it's like,
It's
but
definitely
again, what do you do when you don't know how to book that style of wrestling? You just
right.
keep having them do the same spots over and over, the same things. The only time I see them do anything outside of their norm is on the indie show.
Yeah.
Marina kills it on indie shows. I
Yeah.
don't see that in a minute match on ROH.
Definitely not. I would agree with that. I
Uh,
would agree with that.
as far as the infantry versus Anthony Henry and Griff
Yeah.
Garrison,
Yep.
um, did we expect anybody else to win other than the infantry?
No.
No.
Once I saw
Nope.
Griff Garrison, I was like, "This is it." Top Flight beating the Outrunners again. Was that a
Yeah.
match
I mean,
that we expect anything
no,
from?
no. I mean, here's my only issue though is that I think personally, Top Flight's good enough to be somewhere on the main card. I don't know what that looks like, and I when I saw the Outrunners, just because I lived through the '80s and they make me feel nostalgic for the '80s, I was hoping that they might get a little bit better, whatever. But they've just been jobbers, which is unfortunate because I don't think they're terrible. I think they're okay on the mic, and I think they're okay in the ring. I think they probably could be a little bit better, and if they were given better booking, I think they could show a little bit more. But and I'm definitely disappointed that Top Flight's on the zero. I think they should be somewhere on the main card. I think they're good enough. If you're gonna have them working in Ring of Honor, I mean they should be on AEW Dynamite regularly, let alone, the main card on Ring of Honor. So
It's uh, that was the 0 hour. The main matches. Some of them I felt towards the end were good. Like they set up storylines. Some of them I was just like, really, we really. The Beast Mortis versus Commander. He defeated Commander.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
Commander.
that was really good.
it
It was
took me by
really good,
surprise.
but Commander keeps doing the same thing over and over again. I'm gonna need to let him go. Like let him
I,
do what he do best.
I thought Commander was going to win.
yeah, I
I
really
know.
enjoyed this match. I thought it was a good opener for this card, and I mean for the main card, and I really enjoyed this. I thought Mortos looked really good, and yeah, Commander does a lot of the same stuff over and over again. And like you said, I don't know if that's just him deciding to do it or if that's them saying, hey, this gets over, so do that, or whatever the case may be. But somebody needs to, yeah, he needs to expand his or do things just a few times less. Like the rope walk is cool, but you can't do it 2 3 4 times a match or even every match. Like it's got to look special. Like so,
It's like
yeah. But I mean, solid match though, really good match.
With Vikingo, you get some of the same spots, but the endings are different. Like he might splash, he might 360, he might do something.
Right.
Commander's like every time I see you do the same exact thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. No,
the
I
next
agree.
match for the ROH World Tag Team title, the Undisputed Kingdom defeated the Conglomeration. Again, who thought that they weren't gonna win? Because I can't imagine Tomohiro Ishii as a ROH champion.
Which is unfortunate because I really other than Orange Cassidy, I like this faction. So, and I really wanted them to win. I didn't think they were going to. And obviously, as soon as I saw Kyle Fletcher come down to ringside, I knew it was all bad for whatchamacallit. But yeah, for Ishii but the Kingdom, I mean, the Undisputed Kingdom is the big thing on Ring of Honor right now. So I mean, it doesn't surprise me that they won here at all.
The next match was a Texas Death match, Layla Hirsch versus Diamante. Now I asked Jay News, and you all might have the answer. On main roster, was it Diamante or was it somebody else that talked about Layla Hirsch's dead mother or she being adopted or something?
Ooh, I don't remember that, but I don't remember promos
Because I
well either.
remember they
So,
had like a grudge match, and it seems
all right.
like it might have been Diamante. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't watched Wild Women of Wrestling, Diamante and Red Velvet. Is it Red Velvet? No, it wasn't Red Velvet. It was the girl who has the red hair. I don't forgot her name. Not Red Velvet. Uh, they used to team, and they broke up on Wild. And I thought when I did, she used to come. She's I think she's in TNA now. But when she used to work in AEW, I thought for some apparent reason
I'd like to say
they were.
Kylie King.
No. It's a black woman.
Oh, red hair.
Um,
Yeah.
she had like fiery red hair.
Hogan?
Yeah, Kiera
Yes,
Hogan.
Kiera Hogan. Yes, I thought that they were gonna do like they did with Tony and Deanna and do like this. We used to be friends, but we're not friends anymore. Thing, and they never did that
Yeah.
because Diamante has been everywhere and she has history with everyone. And it's not. It's like you're not doing her a good service. But Layla Hirsch won that Texas Death match. The
I
next
love
match
this match.
I was excited
Oh,
for.
hold on, real quick. I thought Diamante and Layla Hirsch killed it.
Mhm.
I thought it was a great match. Up until I think the final two matches of the night, it was definitely my match of the night.
Uh,
So
the finish, though, I'm pretty sure she banged
Yeah,
her head on a step of the
yeah.
ladder coming down.
she did. I think she did as well. Yes, I agree with that. But overall, I thought it was an amazing match. I thought they killed it. So go ahead, Dolores.
The next match, I was excited because it was the ROH Pure Title match. Lee Moriarty defeated Willa Yuta. I don't have to see Willa Yuta. Oh my God. Oh my.
Right.
Hallelujah.
Well,
Praise
I mean,
God.
we're still going to see Willer Yuta.
No, but not like that because he was on TV with that. Listen, Willa Yuta is like if I let a 5-year-old on TV to talk, it's like, hi, I'm,
This
and
match
I'm going to
also
win.
took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting
Good.
Willer Yuta to lose his title yet.
I
Yeah.
expected him to win because he had the title for so long.
Well, I
I,
didn't.
yeah.
Well, that's the thing is that they had him hold his title while he was out. So I
Right.
figured, well, now he's back. They got plans for him.
No.
No, I mean I
No,
don't have a
apparently not.
problem with it because I like Lee. I like Lee, and I'm glad
Hmm.
that he's getting an opportunity with the
Oh,
belt.
I
So
don't have a problem with it. It just took me by surprise.
yeah.
And
No, I liked it. I thought it was a solid. I thought it was a solid pure match. I mean, Lee showed that he deserved to be the champion, and I enjoyed it. So
the next match was the ROH Women's World Title match, where we have a new champion in Red Velvet, and she defeated Billy Starks. I wanted to cry for Red Velvet because I feel like she hasn't really been getting as she's been getting jobbed out a lot, and this is her opportunity to show she's really good at wrestling. And Billy Starks is doing more indie dates. If anybody has seen her on indies, she is killing it as far as fighting men, fighting women. She is killing it, period. So I
Who's
think she's developing a more hardcore style.
who is Red Velvet married to?
Let me see.
Is it like
so
Bischoff's son? Is it Vince Russo's son? It's somebody's son.
this is one of those make it make sense moments. Both of these women were in the match that Billy Starks won that title in. Now, 1 month later, you have Red Velvet beat her for that same title. Why not just put it on Red Velvet in the first fucking place? It doesn't make any sense to me to even put it on Billy Starks ever. I mean, there's no point. So that being said, I don't care who really has it, and I like Red Velvet more, so I'm happy. But it's one of those make sense moments for me. I don't
Well,
understand.
I think
The
what they
thought
did
process
was
doesn't make sense.
they did what, and which is crazy because again, we got another ending vignette afterwards on ROH socials where Athena is now back disrespecting uh, Billy Starks. Like she doesn't pay attention, doesn't care. She feels like she's not as great as the other minion. She's back to doing that again, which is irritating because during the time that Athena and Billy seem to have been beefing, Billy was into her heel character, Indy and on ROH. And now you got her, this bubbly girl again, who is constantly getting disrespected. And it makes her look bad that she did not get any help. She just got her butt kicked, got lost her title, and she is still, I'm enthusiastic. I'm taking one for the team.
Yeah,
That makes it look bad.
I
One
agree.
thing that surprised me a bit was when I checked the times of the matches, because like, okay, so it's roughly 15 minutes, roughly 20 minutes, roughly 15 minutes, roughly 20 minutes, roughly 15, roughly 15, roughly 20, roughly 20, and roughly 20. And
Interesting.
it's like, wow, you guys like have your timings down pretty packed. Of this match gets 15, this match gets 20, and like
Right.
you guys are usually within a minute of that mark.
Yeah. Uh, the next match, again, did I really need it? It was the ROH World Six-Man Tag Team Title Eliminator match. Dustin Rhodes and the Von Erichs of Marshall Von Erich and Ross Von Erich defeated the Dark Order, Alex Reynolds, Evil Uno, and John Silver. Did
So here's
we
what I'm. Oh, go ahead.
expect
I'm
anything
sorry.
different?
So here's what I'm gonna say. No, I didn't. I assumed that Rhodes and the Von Erichs were gonna win, and I'm happy to see them win. I like the Von Erichs. I hope that they ultimately make their way up to the AEW roster. I'm here for it. What I don't understand is how far the Dark Order has fallen. Like these guys were almost trios. They were trios champions at one point in
No,
AEW, if I'm not mistaken. They were almost sorry. They were right at that area of being trios champions in AEW at one point, and now they're losing an eliminator match in the. You know what I'm saying? It's like okay, so I don't. I mean. That's disappointing to me. I always liked the Dark Order. I mean, I liked him better with Stu Grayson, but I don't think he made enough of a difference that they should be this far down. That they should have fallen this far. So, but it is what it is. And the Von Erichs and Dustin got the win. So I like Marshall and his brother, whose name I'm drawing a blank on at the moment. But yeah, I'm here for it. I hope that they get more of a push and they make it up to the main roster at some point. I hope Dark Order makes their way back up to the main roster at some point. I really like Dark Order. So
only one person in Dark Order held the championship, and that was Brody Lee for the TNT Championship.
I
And
really believe that Dark Order was not supposed to be a real thing. You know how you have the minions behind the master
hmm
who no offense, but the best way is the Maharaja and the Bollywood boys. Okay? The Bollywood boys, even though they wrestled on indies, they're really not the thing you want to see. You wanted to see the Maharaja. So at a certain point, when Brody died, everybody was rooting for them. It was like, we want to see them win. We want to see them win. And we got to see them win. And then we were like, well, they need somebody to like lead them. And then we had somebody lead them. And then it was like, every time we got what we wanted, it still didn't change the look or the feel that they were second and not first.
hmm
Because be honest with you, with the black mass, you have I'm not the black mass, but with the House of Black, you can see them individually and think that they're good individually, but together they're great.
yeah,
The Dark Order is not that.
I hear you. I understand what you're saying. I get it. I get it.
like for real, when we did our fantasy drafts, we like all of us were scooping up the member of House of Black in the first round.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you can put them together or separate them. They're great characters individually or together. And then with it's like, oh my God. And then lately the only time they really get pops is when 10 is out there.
Yeah.
Other than that,
No, 10 is with
Preston Vance,
not
negative one.
10,
Negative
negative
one.
one. That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Negative one. That's the only time
Yeah.
they really get a pop. And you
Yeah.
are starting to see at a certain point, somebody pointed out online, Eva Uno has started back doing his indie match booking dates. You start seeing the Dark Order doing those things. Um, Everybody started picking up different indie dates other than that. And then all of a sudden, even negative 10 wasn't, he was around other wrestlers, but he wasn't really like going to events like he used to before his dad died and stuff like that. And then he started back going to like WrestleMania and doing this. It's like everybody is really just kind of like screwed the Dark Order at this point.
Yeah.
So the next match, which I actually got a kick out of, except for the winner, ROH World Television Title Survival of the Fittest 2024 Final Six-Way Elimination Match. Tony, that's my first problem with this match. Stop making these matches like 9,000 title long, please.
honestly, the last person who I thought was going to win won.
That's me too. So
Right.
Atlantis Jr. defeated Brian Cage, Johnny TV, Lee Johnson, Leo Rush, and Shane Taylor. It went that Leo Rush beat Shane Taylor in 9 minutes and 56 seconds. Lee
Yeah. I
Johnson
want to.
beat,
The
yeah,
fact that Shane Taylor was eliminated first to me is bizarre. I mean, I thought that was. I mean, not that Leo Rush should have been either, but just the whole thing was bizarre. I don't know. Like, okay.
yeah. Lee Johnson then beat Leo Rush in 11 minutes and 32 seconds. Brian Cage beat Lee Johnson in 15 minutes and 5 seconds. Brian Cage then beat Johnny TV in 18 minutes and 39 seconds. And then Atlantis Jr. beat Brian Cage. That's the crazy part.
So I wasn't. I didn't. I thought Atlantis Jr. was probably going to retain his championship. But here's the thing that I thought was the crazy part, is that Brian Cage was one of the final two guys. When you've got a Leo Rush, a Shane Taylor, and a Lee Johnson all in the same match, even a Johnny TV, the fact that Brian Cage, and that's taking nothing away from Brian Cage. I like Brian Cage, but you have guys that are better than him, and he's in the final two. I mean, I would have much rather seen Atlantis and Leo Rush in the final two, or Atlantis and Lee Johnson in the final two. So, but I didn't have any issue. Or I thought Atlantis Jr. was probably going to hold on to his title here.
Only reason why I don't think the ending. You have
Yeah.
David and Goliath, and we always keep going with the David winning. He beat the strong, tall man. Like, I'm so sick of that at this point. We are constantly in this stuck mentality of Rey Mysterio beating the Big Show and the rest of that. We got come on now. Put a little bit of reality into this, because
Hallelujah! You're
I
preaching to the
cannot
choir
see
here.
him actually beating Brian Cage in a real fight.
Yeah, you know how I feel about that. I mean, that's one of my biggest contentions is little guys beating big guys because it's just not believable. Here's the thing. I understand that it's whatever, but like you can't put the belt on someone like Big Show because in reality, no one ever beats that guy. Like anyone beating him ever is not believable. So you put a belt on him and then he gets beat. It's like that's not believable because the dude is twice as big as everybody else. Like it just all he has to do is grab your head and squeeze, dude, and you're going to pass out. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm sorry, Rey Mysterio is never beating the Big Show in big life, even if the Big Show drops to his knees. It's not happening, dude. Rey Mysterio is like a fly to that guy. I promise you. Even his strongest punches, even the kicks to the face are like a fucking fly to that guy. That dude's head is fucking humongous, dude. There's no way. So I understand exactly what you're saying, and I hate that shit. So
it's like you can do it every once in a while, but when you do it all the time, for instance, let's take Wardlow MJF. He power bombed him into infinity, and then all of a sudden, MJF up 1, 2, 3.
yeah.
Like, come on now. What was
Yeah.
all the rest of this for? He stomped him into the ground. For what reason are we now letting him get up and hook? Well, no, we don't say, hook up, and all of a sudden he wins. Like that irks me to death. And then I turned around and got even more mad, ladies and gentlemen, because ROH Women's World Title, Athena defeated Queen Amanada. Ladies and gentlemen, when is Athena going back to the main roster?
Now,
So here's the thing. She will have that title now until she surpasses Samoa Joe's time with whatever belt it was that Samoa Joe has for the most. Apparently, Samoa Joe has the longest title reign as world champion, male, female, whatever, in Ring of Honor history, and she's right on his tail right now. So I think she's going to hold it to surpass Samoa Joe. I think she'll be the longest reigning champion ever in Ring of Honor, male or female, when it's all said and done. This fucking match was amazing, though.
Mhm.
These two women can go, and Queen Aminata's got a bright future. I thought she shined even a little brighter than Athena, and Athena looked great. I thought this was really good. I thought they killed it. I mean, I couldn't have asked for anything better between these two, other than Queen Aminata winning. I wanted Queen Aminata to win, not because I don't like Athena, just because I was ready for something different. But as soon as they made it a point at the beginning of the match, how close Athena is to Samoa Joe, I was like, Now I'm kind of rethinking it a little bit because I could see them wanting her to surpass that record. So
now here, I'll just say this. And hi, guys.
hey.
So, listening to wrestling news, they're saying that they're going to put more attention back on Ring of Honor, right? So,
Okay.
in my mind, if y'all are really doing that, don't do it after Athena drops the belt. So that's why I'm not mad that Athena didn't drop the belt this time. I'm like, no. So if you're gonna really put attention on Ring of Honor again, then she deserves that attention for at least a couple of months before she drops the belt. So I'm all for her still being ROH Women's World Champion.
But the thing about it is they're going to get a TV deal, and ROH is included in that package. But the thing about it is, if it's about TV, she can be on Dynamite. She can be on Rampage. She can be on TV where there are more eyes. Listen, Evie, no offense to Ring of Honor, but if you put it on, I watch it. I watch it now. All ALW can tell you, we there for all day. You might well pack a picnic lunch and everything else. At this point, if you put it on TV, you gonna either have to cut it, or if you got it that long, I might as well just go to sleep with the TV on.
Now here's the thing. I think we all can agree that Athena should be on Dynamite or Collision. Rampage. Right now, Rampage and Ring of Honor is like tied. No offense, but I will believe it when I see it. And as of right now, I do not trust Tony Khan to properly book Athena on Dynamite. I think she's been this good on Ring of Honor because they've been doing their own thing. They haven't. He hasn't put his fingers on anything in Ring of Honor. That's why she's been so
Dynamite.
good.
That's the problem with Dynamite. He has made it clear he does not script stuff too much. He lets them do what they want to do. That's why Wardlow cannot talk, yet they keep giving him a microphone. They keep trying. So at a certain point, he's not scripting or doing anything. He's just living his childhood fantasies out. That's all he's doing at this point. And so she can do that on the main roster. What's gonna happen is she's gonna lose the title to Billy, which is gonna be a pain in the butt because I wish Billy would go up too, because I need them to make, and they have said they are trying to make ROH the brand like NXT. This is where everybody starts off, get their footing, get to learn what cameras to hit, to learn how to talk on national TV. Don't make it where you're putting all the great stars down there, and I have to watch. It seems like a forever and a day hike to watch a good match. When you put them on Dynamite, they'll probably bring your ratings up. Some of these good gems that be stuck in ROH need to be on Dynamite.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that for sure. They need to get there's people on Ring of Honor that need more exposure. I wonder, I wonder if she likes being the big fish in the small pond. I mean, I'm sure she would much rather have more TV exposure, no doubt about it. But being champ for a long time, and Ring of Honor does have a rich history, you know, when you're talking about wrestling and independent wrestling. So I mean, it's nothing to snub your nose at. You know, I mean, I think that it's a big deal for her to a certain extent and in her career, but she's definitely main roster material. She should be wrestling for the AEW World Title or the TBS title for sure. I mean, she should be in
I
those
think
pictures, absolutely.
I think people give like ROH in the past has been great. Like it was the crap. But now people don't see it the same way. Because I just got a question. If ROH is the crap that everybody say is, why ain't Britt Baker take her butt down there?
Who?
Yeah.
Britt Baker.
Man,
None of the main stars are really taking their butt down there because it ain't what
No,
it
they're
is.
not. I mean, to be fair, I mean, if I'm Britt Baker, I'm not going to go down there to get beat by Athena either. But which I think is probably what happened. So, but no, I mean, I'm talking about the history of Ring of Honor. I mean, yes, right now it's down a little bit. I think overall that's because of the way that Tony has been treating it. But as a general rule, it has a rich history in the past of being one of the more solid independent promotions in the past. So, what?
So Britt Baker is going to lose to Mercedes Moné, and then she's going to go to Ring of Honor, and she's going to take the title off.
No,
No,
I don't think so.
no.
No, I think Flores called it.
They building this Billy stuff up.
Yeah, I think Billy's going to end up beating Athena.
Yeah,
unfortunately, I think that's what's going to end up happening.
that makes
Which I don't know if that's good or bad. I mean, I don't dislike Billy, but it feels like for Ring of Honor, and if you're trying to make it a bigger show and more interesting, Billy Starks is a step down. I don't care about Billy Starks at all. So for me, that's a step way down. So
I think
I mean,
we're getting to a point where Tony does not. He's getting into his WWE bag where he doesn't know how to handle certain people. You bring in Nick Wayne, you put him in his father category. ALW, and I can tell you, he does better. East West Express. Jordan Oliver's still hanging out there, just still hanging out there, and I'm like, and he's had tryouts with AEW and been jobbed and stuff, and I'm like, come on! I'm screaming at the TV. Like, at what point are we gonna just start pulling the trigger and letting people stand on their own? And if they don't work out, they don't work out. And instead, you want to play with our WWE's misfit toys. Stop doing that. We initially, AEW was built on the foundation that we are going to give people a chance who had never had a chance before. Yeah. And all of a sudden, that's not it anymore. Most of your stars are stars who came from another company.
Yeah, I can see that argument.
WCW did the same thing back in the day.
And look where they are now.
I mean,
they had Sting. Sting was the exception, but everybody else, former WWF guys.
I definitely was excited when they announced Nick Wayne coming to AEW, and now, I mean, there's no excitement because he doesn't do anything, right? He comes out every once in a while and kicks somebody with the group, and that's really about it. I mean, I can't even remember the last Nick Wayne match I got to see. That was Nick Wayne in a match, so.
Yeah.
His mama more popular than he is.
Yeah, that's very disappointing. So, and if I'm him, I'm probably frustrated. I would imagine he's not super happy at the moment. But who knows? I mean, I don't know. I don't know the guy at all. I'm just thinking out loud, just projecting my own shit. But if it were me, I probably wouldn't be super excited. I'd rather be back in GCW where at least I got to wrestle. I mean, fuck.
Yeah.
So.
And the last match of the night was for the ROH World Title, where Mark Briscoe kept his championship, defeating Roderick Strong. And I loved his little promo afterwards with Baby J, and he was bloody. I was like, and the baby was just calm, like, I done been through this before, it's okay.
Like, the baby was too freaking calm. Like, how old is this baby? And the baby like, yep, that's my daddy.
Been there, done that.
I'm sick beside him.
No, that baby has the spirit of his brother. He's like, yeah, we done been in these bloody fights before. Let's just go on and keep it moving.
I really thought this match could have gone either way. I could have definitely seen Roderick Strong being Roddy Two Belts.
I thought they killed it. I mean, this was definitely match of the night. emotion-wise, story-wise, by the time it was over, Mark Briscoe's brilliant, right? With the body language and the facial expressions and just the dude's great. He kicked out of his Roderick's combo after it, not even one, the full bloody face. Dude, I was so hyped at that point. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I mean, I posted this on YouTube. I asked it in the community poll. I said, was this match good enough to be a match of the year candidate? I mean, right now it's probably in my list of 5 or 10 that I'd be considering, I think. What do you guys think?
I would say no right now, secretly.
Yeah.
Amazing Red been out here killing it. I mean, he been out
Yes.
here tearing it apart. The Mike Santana match he had, and then the Swerve match he had this past weekend was
Mhm.
fire. So I
Swerve
would,
match.
yeah, the match with Swerve at HOG Intensity. It
That was
was,
Ooh.
glory.
and I would say that those two matches right now are on the top
Yeah.
for me
Yeah.
because they were long, drawn out, emotional matches where at the end Swerve gave him his props and Amazing Red was in tears.
Yeah, I'm a big Amazing Red fan. I think it feels like this might be kind of a last tour thing for him. I mean, I haven't heard that for sure, but I
No,
mean, he's been
no
around for a
offense. It's like
long time, man.
right now, Brian Danielson's last tour and Amazing Red's last tour.
Yeah.
Amazing Red is giving it every single match. He is tearing it down. And it's like, my wish is that some company would see this and give him an opportunity on a big stage.
Yeah. Yeah. What'd you guys think about Briscoe versus whatchamacallit?
I thought it was
Roderick
great.
Strong. Yeah.
I mean, like
Where's it?
Roderick Strong having a good match. Water's wet, right? And that's kind of
Of
why
course.
we want,
No
like,
doubt.
that's why we want more for him because it's like we know how good he is in the ring.
I mean,
Yeah.
Just
he was
uh,
recently the international champion. It's just he got faced up against Will Ospreay.
but that was so short. But it was a short. That his reign was so short, and I get it. Will Ospreay's the Billy Goat, but he didn't have to win a title so soon. That's
Yeah.
just me, though. That's just me.
Yeah, no, I thought they killed it. I thought this was a solid pay-per-view. I mean, the main card, I didn't really think there was anything that I thought was like egregious or bad. I thought every match was really solid. I mean, I thought this was a solid B plus, maybe even an A minus pay-per-view. I mean, other than maybe a few shenanigans in a couple matches in the endings, I probably got a little bit higher score, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really really solid.
The
I think
matches were good. I think sometimes I either want a really good match with some storyline, but sometimes when it's like you've built this storyline and then it's over with, and it's like, well, where do we go from here? What does it happen? Like, and then the fact that you put out a promo for Athena and Billy, where it's like, oh well, I'm taking one for the team, and we're back at square one. It's like we went 360 instead of you. What it should have happened was Billy should have kept her title, and Queen Aminata should have won, and then that would have made Athena mad and jealous.
Yep.
And then that it would have been the opposite reverse. Instead of me being the queen bee, you are not the queen bee, and I'm looking like a peasant.
No, I like that. I think that would have worked well. Yeah, I was. I mean, even though I figured Athena was probably going to win, by the time the match was over, I wanted Queen Aminata to win that match. I thought she looked a little bit better. Honestly, I thought there were a couple spots where I thought Athena looked. I don't want to say botched. They weren't botched moves, but just a little clunky. Maybe it was just the chemistry of the two of them. But I thought Queen Aminata looked amazing. I thought she looked great. So
And that would have been a memorable pay-per-view because not only is she historically like talent that you signed and that you raved about and that made news and different things, but if she had won that title, that definitely would have made news and put your brand in a different place.
yeah.
But I would agree with your rating, like B plus, somewhere around there, about an 87%.
Yeah. What about you, Anika? What are you giving it?
From what y'all said, I'll give it a B.
Dolores, what's your final grade?
I'll give it a B because I enjoyed the matches. It was just like, where do we go from here? Like
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
the storylines is like it feels like you get up to a pay-per-view, you do the matches, and then we're scrambling on the next show to figure out what to do, and then we got a lot of matches that don't make any sense.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. So that, I guess, pretty much wraps up Death Before Dishonor, our review of that show. We all enjoyed it for the most part, other than a few critiques. I think we were going to try to just kind of talk about some general news. I'll kick it off just because I have this one here because I just had it right up. So I'm just going to bring it up and read it real quick. This is about Sammy's girl, Julia. This was just posted a little while ago, I think. Let's see what's it say. It doesn't say, but it was just from a couple hours ago. Let's see. It was recently reported that oh wait, hold on. Julia has revealed her next steps ahead of her anticipated WWE debut, hinting at when she may be moving to the company. First spotted over WWE WrestleMania 40 weekend, Julia made it clear that she'd be remaining in Japan to assist Rosie. Yeah, we know all that. It was recently reported that Julia would be officially starting WWE during August 2024. Julia has now provided an update. August 19th here in Corrigan Hall will be my last match in Japan. So it sounds like, although WWE has yet to confirm a date, it is worth noting the NXT No Mercy takes place on September 1st. How soon do you think we'll see her? When do you think she'll show up?
I would assume no mercy, but she might appear the week before to schedule a match at No Mercy. So
I don't know because if I'm right, yes, she was in Marigold on the 21st. So she is a part of their Marigold Summer Gold Shine.
Right.
That they have is like around G1 time, all the indies have some kind of G1 type tournament thing. And so she did a tag match and some other stuff. And so she she right now I think is just preparing to move. It's not like she's already set her foot when she came here. I know they said she was looking around. She might have found a place. She just needs to wrap up her ending dates and get her stuff together and get ready to move to America.
It's
It says here, oh, sorry, it just says here real quick. It says she had previously teased a feud with Io Sky when she arrives in WWE after Damage Control member appeared at Marigold Summer Destiny on July 13th. Just real quick, Anika, because you can comment on this. Is there any chance that she bypasses NXT and just shows up on Raw and SmackDown at the main roster?
No.
uh, mm, I would say 0 chance. I'll give a good 30%.
I think AJ Styles is the only person who's done it. Like I can't think
Well,
of anybody else who's done it.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't know that, but it's
What's the
interesting.
other girl
Anika,
they
what do
just
you think?
signed?
Stephanie Vicaire.
Yeah, Vaquer. Uh,
Yeah.
that them two in a match. Take my
Um,
take
there's
my
actually a third woman, Delta.
Delta, who's gotten a little bit of noise behind the scenes. What do you think about Julia? When do you think she's going to come, Anika? And if so, you think she comes to NXT or the main roster?
that's what I was gonna say. Thank God. That was a weird no, because I was darn sure it's like I forgot. Let's move on. But no, I was gonna say those days you said of her last match in New Japan, like that's kind of it gonna say weird, but in my mind I'm like, okay, August, right after SummerSlam. It's like no, that's like 2 or 3 weeks after SummerSlam. So what's the next big one? That Blood October 5th. That seems so far away. Like there's nothing in September. There's no big or at least semi big pay-per-view in September. Cause I do want like I would prefer her sooner than later, but I don't want her to be just a casual random pop out of the box
Right.
debut.
Yeah, I mean, I'm torn. Like, she's definitely, obviously, main roster talent. I mean, When she comes to WW NXT main roster all together, it doesn't matter. She's already top of the pile as far as women talent in the company. So I don't know how long you can hold her on NXT, even if you bring her there. I don't have a problem either way. I think it does add some, it puts eyes on NXT, which I think they like because they do that at times where they bring stars down and so on. At the same time, it's a developmental show, and I do worry for people that aren't familiar with both of them, that if they show up on NXT and that's your first experience with them, that they're on NXT, so they're on the developmental show, they must be developmental talent, and you don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, it only takes you 30 seconds to see that they're not developmental talent. I get that, but I'm just saying, like, that might be like the first thought, like, oh shit, they're on NXT, they're developmental. If you don't know who they are, probably living under a rock if you don't know who they are. I mean, to be fair, most wrestling fans, and almost every wrestling fan knows who they are, but still, I mean, you never know. So I don't know. I wouldn't be. Both of them are, immediately, like I was saying, when you sign to a company, they're going to be, top of your women's roster no matter what show they're on. So you can't keep either of them off the main rosters for very long. So, but I wouldn't mind seeing, like Laura said, them wrestle each other in NXT, or anywhere for that matter. I mean,
But you have to think about it. They have tough fighting styles. CMLL, New Japan, Stardom, Marigold. They are used to punching. We don't pull punches. We pop. We just gonna knock you out. So at a certain point, they have to be trained to like, hey, it's great, but you can't just. That's if you all remember when we had the reality show with AEW, Jade knocked Red Velvet into oblivion, and they had to have a meeting with Cody and Brandy to tell them, hey, she out here knocking folks like we really fighting. We need her to pull back at a certain point. That's what WWE has to do is train them to, hey, pull back. This we not really fighting. When you elbow me, my teeth shouldn't fly out on the third row. This is what we need to do. Because if you watch a Stephanie Vaquero or a Julia match, they fight like nobody is there watching. Like this is not professional wrestling. This is a fight to them. And at a certain point, you have to teach them the ropes. You have to teach them. They're not used to even with Stephanie. She did the AEW stuff, but as you know, she was just out there fighting Mercedes. She wasn't looking at no camera. She wasn't pointing. She wasn't having no real like live promos. She wasn't doing none of that. So that's something that they have to be taught. And plus, if you're gonna make Miko Sakamura go down to NXT, it, nobody's above that. I mean, and she's a great. So if she had to go and hang out at NXT, everybody else does.
yeah.
I would say that, like, although that's a big thing with the American companies, there are some American wrestlers that are all for getting punched in the face. And to be fair, those wrestlers also are big ones that go to Japan and wrestle there too. Like John
Yeah,
Moxley, he don't care if you punch him in the face as long as he gets to punch in the face back.
yeah, but he also is a man who loves to get swords in the mail from Samoa Joe. So he has a different type of propensity. As a woman, and if you're a good looking woman, let's just say we're gonna take one of the softest people. You imagine Stephanie knocking Tiffany Stratton's teeth into the third wall and she being okay with that?
No,
No.
but I want to see it.
So that's the thing about it. Everybody has to learn that less, and we've heard it in WWE. People having problems because somebody's hitting too hard, they're doing too much. So at a certain point, you have to learn to slow that down. If not, you're gonna have to go to another company. They go to WWE for exposure. They want to be in spaces and places they feel like AEW is not going to take them. Name how many AEW stars you see on TV and movies like that.
uh, there's like five. Like, there's not very many at
And
all.
you can name it more than that with WWE. Phil has a problem. He has a mouth problem. He has a hand problem. Phil had a picture in the dailies for this new upcoming role he got. Because you know what? Phil was in a space and a place that he needed to be in.
Actually, now that you say that, like all the names that I'm coming up with in AEW are also people who were in WWE. So, like, the only name that really comes to mind is Britt Baker. Like everybody else, I think is like, I can't think of anybody that's not a former WWE person in AEW now. That's like on
Well,
TV.
you can say,
MJF.
yeah,
Oh,
MJF.
MJF. Yeah, he was in the movie with Zac Efron. Yeah.
Yeah, and then but you have to remember. I think they said there was a little problem with that, and then he ended up just going and trying out for the role himself. It's about who and what you know, and WWE has a lot of connections to get you there. Jade even said it in her interview. She was like, at a certain point, I felt like there's nothing for me to do here, and I want to be in a bigger space. I want to be able to do certain things. They're not
Darby
going to be able
Allin.
to do it for me. I
I got
mean,
I got one.
Darby,
Darby.
you as long as he willing to put his body on the line, anybody will take it.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I was surprised that Jackass Forever didn't pick him up.
I think he's a little too hardcore for them at this point. They are older men at this point. They not try. They trying to do the stunt, but do it in a way like before they used to be reckless. Staple my crouch. I don't care. But now it's like I got kids. I'm old. This ain't gonna, I ain't gonna bounce back like I used to. So can we just angle the staple to the side of the leg and not the actual ball itself? And where Darby's like, I don't care, shoot me. And so it's like, okay,
Both sides.
yeah.
So
So
sad.
he doesn't care. Was it? It wasn't in Blood and Guts, was it, or something? That time he took all them staples to the head, and he just seemed to be enjoying it.
I'm not sure when that happened. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I don't think it's ever been in a arena. It might have been Stadium Stampede.
He doesn't care. The man gets hit by moving vehicles and doesn't care. He doesn't care about his safety.
This is
This is
true.
very true. So Charlotte Flair has been spotted at the Performance Center getting ready for her return. Is anybody besides me excited for Charlotte to be back?
I'm
No.
excited. I'm excited because
Is
then she
she?
can face her twin now.
Two Barbies going at it? No, thank you.
Yeah, I'm a Barbie girl. I just want because if you've been watching Charlotte's socials, she's come down to earth. So that like bubble headed, like, oh my God, that's not her anymore. I just cannot wait for an older Charlotte to get with a young Tiffany. And Tiffany's like, I got an epiphany. And she be like, the epiphany is I'm about to whoop your. That's what I want. That's what I need. I need an older Charlotte to be like, I used to do that. That used to be me. But now I know better. And I'm going to have to teach you a lesson, young child. And I'm also going to have to teach you how to do Boston crab, a figure four, and all these things you do not know how to do.
I'd be excited if she was going to Raw because Raw needs women.
I mean, was she already drafted to SmackDown? Is that?
I'm pretty sure.
She's
Yeah, I
with
don't
she's
remember.
with Andrade wherever he is. He's at
All
SmackDown now.
right.
SmackDown doesn't need her. Raw needs women desperately.
Yeah.
But I think they're gonna slowly start bringing some more women up, slowly but surely.
I mean, they
It's
already
just
brought up the best women. NXT struggling as it is until the new arrivals come in. SmackDown's the only one sitting pretty. Everybody else is hurting for women.
How much how much tread is left on the Charlotte tires? She's 38. She's been injured a few times. She's been around for a long time. And what do you think the next couple of years look like? Is she
I,
wrestling for another 5 years or what?
I'd say somewhere between like 3 and 7.
I would say longer than that, but she will do the. I think she might do the. I'm gonna sit down, have kids. I'm gonna come take a break. Then I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna be better than ever. Long as she don't come back and beat somebody for the title like she,
I, I
Yeah.
I thought that she tried to do that and it didn't work.
I think she has. she's in a better. She didn't try to do that. She was upset. She was going through a lot of things,
Okay.
and then she. It seemed like it was personal because even her husband weren't like always together like they are now. Now their backs seem to be on the same page. I mean, I would be too. I'm married to you. I'm getting paid for this company. You decide to get up and leave and go somewhere, which I probably told you not to go. Then you got unhappy and had to bring your butt back.
So,
Well,
as a dude, I probably don't have room to speak on this, but I will say if I was a woman, I wouldn't want to be having kids in my 40s.
Man, that's the best time probably because you're more calmer. You're, you you ready to settle down and retire. When you're
Well,
like
I,
as a person in their 40s, it would probably be easier for me because I got patience. Twenties
I'm
and
only
30s,
30
I want
right
to get out there
now.
in the club. I want to have
I'm
a good time.
I'm only 30 right now, and I already feel like settling down and taking a nap, like not running after kids.
Let me tell you, as someone that had kids in their teens and 20s, I am so glad I had them in my teens and 20s because now at 47, chasing my grandson around, I am dead after like 5 minutes. I could not raise a kid right now on my own or with just me and my
But
wife. I mean,
but again, you have to
he's
remember she
killing
gonna
the
have
four of us.
nannies.
One 3-year-old is killing four adults. They're in their 20s and we're in our 40s, and he's killing all four of us.
I think was I in my 30s when my brother had my first nephew, and then like the newest baby is one. He runs around here. I have more patience because at first I used to be like, oh my god, he's not gonna say, oh my god, I can't figure, oh my god, I need to pick him up, oh my god. And then now I'm like, run, child, run. There you go. Do what you do. Because at this point, and then sometimes when they run and they start to stumble, I'm like, I look like he about to fall. Somebody go get, yeah, okay. There you go. He's fine. He got it. And that's how I do now. So I think when you get older, you have a little bit more wisdom. When
Oh
you're
yeah,
young, I see young women now have a baby in their 20s. And years ago, I'll never forget this. This girl in the hospital next to my sister, she's walking the halls and I was like, oh, what are you here for? She's like, I just had a baby. And I was like, oh, okay. And then she stops and she was like, can I use your phone? I was like, yeah. And she calls her friend and she's like, yeah, I can't wait to get out and go to the club. Like, I've been, I ain't been drinking for 9 months. I've been having a good time. I was looking at her like, you just, and I asked her, I was like, did you have a cesarean? She was like, no, I had this baby naturally. I was like, you popped a baby out of your hoo ha, and now you ready to hit the club? This is what we doing now? Look, Sexy Red. If you all haven't seen it, had a baby not too long ago. Jumped up on top of the hospital bed and started twerking. And then 2 weeks later was on NXT. Listen, these new kids, they something serious out here. Rest of us, we trying to calm down and sit down.
no, I mean when when you're young, you don't know anything, but you have the energy, and then when you're older and you know everything, or not everything, but you know more, you don't have the energy. So, me personally, I'm glad I did it when I had the energy. But that's just my personal. That's my personal. Plus, I'm happy that now my kids started that I'm a young grandparent. I mean, it feels weird to say that because I know a lot of people are like, don't call me grandparent. That makes me feel old. I like the fact that I'm old and that hopefully I'll get to see them grow up for a long time. I mean, hopefully I'll get
Mhm.
to, be a big part of their life for a long time. I mean, at 47, I still feel pretty young. So, if I live for another 40 years, I get to see them live good. I mean, that's, so, or 30 years even. So, yeah, so no, it is what it is. I mean, to each their own. Although I do personally have an issue, and I shouldn't, and I know it's each your own, and it is what it is. When I say issue, I don't really, but with really older men having children, like guys in their 70s, just because
but
they're they're not they're not going to be around for their children, and I think that's a disservice to the kid. I mean, I think it's not fair to their children, but that's all I'm going to say on that.
Robert De Niro.
Exactly. So
Listen,
last
Robert
question
can't
about.
you
tell it.
Italian dudes, put a rubber on. Okay.
Wait a minute, we can't talk about it because of young kids. Them young people be having them get Nick Cannon, ODB. They were tearing them clubs up. Listen,
But
what
at
you have to
least
do?
y'all be.
No, Nick Cannon's got a serious illness. ODB end up dying. Like you got all these kids, and especially if you're not listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you've never seen MTV Cribs, the episode with ODB, I think he said he had 7 kids at the time or whatever. And he was at the store. He put up to the convenience store in his limousine and the food stamp card. Was the
Yep.
moment I
Not too long.
realized
Yeah.
people are doing too much at this point. People are doing too much. And then if you ever watch the reality show that comes on recently, his son has multiple kids. And he's like, I learned from my dad to just spread my seeds. And I was like, sir, that's not
No.
good. That's not good. That's not good. I understand if you feel like life is short, but to just have a multitude of kids is a
No,
lot.
I have a friend that believes that was his purpose to be put on this planet, was to procreate as much as he possibly can. And if that's with one woman, great. If it's with multiple women, it doesn't matter. And he's got like 8 kids now, so yeah, I mean it's okay.
It's a lady online who is going through the I see she put herself in this predicament. That's why I can laugh. She was a Juilliard major going to school for ballerina. If you ever seen this ballerina farm lady, she got married to this man who's a billionaire. I said billionaire. They're living on a homestead farm. She's had 8 kids. She had recently had a birthday, and the uproar is that she said, "I want a trip to Greece," and he bought her an apron and told her, "Thank you." That was like,
Did not.
yes, he did. He bought her
Oh,
an apron. He
wow.
literally took the apron out. Was like, "Oh, this is the apron I'm gonna wear to Greece," and he was like,
Mm-mm.
"No,
No,
you should be
that's
thankful."
4 degrees. That's 4 degrees. Get your ass in the kitchen. That's what he's saying.
And then that's when
Yeah.
people start asking, like, well, she did an interview and they started going through the interview. And then she was like, my dream was to be a great ballerina and to live in New York. And he married her and told her, you gonna stay here and you gonna have 8 kids. And then she
Yeah.
said, and then a lady asked her, are you gonna have more kids? And she's like, I don't think. He was like, yes.
So
I
2
was
more
like,
questions. Sorry, go ahead, Lois. I didn't mean to interrupt you if you were.
and I'm like, at that point, some people, you cannot make decisions for other people. Again, this is another moment where you gonna have like that lady with the man when she blowed his knees out. That's he gonna wake up one morning and she gonna either be gone, she gonna leave him with them kids, or we gonna see her on the first 48.
Right. All right. 2 more questions about Charlotte, then we'll move on to something else. Should Charlotte have another title run?
Reluctantly, I will say yes, but it has to be written well.
Okay.
Like, don't just do what you did last time. Just put a belt on her, and it's like, what? Are y'all surreal right now? This is a joke. I'm getting pumped. This is stupid.
No. I don't want to hear nobody complain about that no more because Britt Baker walked her happy, melanated ass in the ring and throwed her arms up, and all of a sudden she got a damn tag title match. Nope.
Well, I
Now,
mean, Charlotte's like a decade.
it's
And
a
Becky,
match.
and
It's
Becky
a
came
match,
in and
though.
beat a woman for the title, so that's not fair. No.
What do you mean, Becky? Well, hold up. Number one, it's a match. I don't think Britt Baker's beating Mercedes. That's just me. Number two, who did Becky beat?
She beat Bianca.
That was stupid.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody
Speaking of that,
remembers that part.
That's what I'm
speaking of
saying.
that, I heard.
But that's what I'm saying. Let's not continue the stupidity and do it again.
I was reading on, I think about it was either PW Insider or Wrestle Talk, one of those places where Bianca had recently been quoted as she was like truly upset after that. She spent time crying in the locker room after that loss to Becky Lynch at SummerSlam, the 28 seconds or the 13 seconds or whatever it was. I didn't realize that. I didn't know that it was like that kind of situation. I thought, it was all good and it had all been like agreed to and all that. I'm sure she agreed to it, but I didn't realize that it was like that. So after that, I was like, damn, that's.
There is a dream. I have to do it because the boss told me to, and I'm liking it. Now, depending, I'm not sure about the whole crying thing, but I will be pissed off too. I've held this title for a long time, and again, it wasn't that she lost. I think if you put a poll up, it was the way she lost. It was like,
Exactly.
really? We couldn't do a 10-minute match? We really
Yeah.
couldn't do that?
And to
Stupid
be getting
racist
this
bitch.
instead of getting her versus Mercedes, which was the planned thing, like
It's the
because you know
Okay.
that match would have been killer. We saw it at Mania. Like we knew the match was going to be killer.
but again, at the time we were run by a man who doesn't like melanated people or himself, and he was listen, I'm gonna be honest with you when it comes to this. How can you mess somebody over? You agree to pay them money, and then all of a sudden you like, well, you know what? I'm gonna wake up this morning. I'm not gonna pay you. How do you do that? How do you
Because
do
you're
that?
a
You knew
crazy.
this woman had all this evidence against you, and that's why you settled with her. But instead, you was like, you know what? I'm gonna call your bluff today. I'm not gonna pay you a damn doggone cent anymore. And she drug your dog stuff into the light. You would have still had some control if you had just paid this woman the money you owed her.
It's freaking arrogance. The audacity to say, I ain't got to worry about this.
Listen,
But
and for the people who defend it, imagine you go to work. I'm not saying that what she did was work. It was not, she was pressured into something. But you go to work, you work your butt off, you get drunk around, you get tossed around and thrown everywhere. And then you wake up on Friday, your check in, and your job goes, I don't feel like paying you today. Okay? Because I just felt like your work wasn't good enough.
but personally, I feel like we got women like Bianca, we got women like Rhea. Like we really don't need another Charlotte Flair title reign.
Like I
Like
said,
it's
Yeah, that's reasonable.
definitely not right now. But if you write it out well, I
Yeah.
will watch it.
Rhea can't do this forever. Again, as women, we do have goals of families and things of everything. And we don't want to go back to the old WWE where we just circling the same block over and over again. At this
Yeah.
point, if Liv does keep the title and
Sure.
Dom screws her, do we
Right.
want to continue to be on this Liv train? Or
pause.
will we take a Charlotte
No.
train over this?
Yeah, yeah, I'll take Charlotte over Liv for sure, no doubt.
Um,
Go ahead.
with Rhea though, she's what 26. Like she might be like Gen Z or whatever. I think.
Yeah, she's young. I mean, I know she's still very young. I don't know exactly how old she is.
But
Well, I
even with
check her
being
age.
young, accidents happen when you're having fun. Okay, ALW probably could tell you accidents happen when you're
Uh,
having fun. Too much fun, and she's a newlywed. Too much fun. Slip up. That's how
yeah,
Becky had to end up
Well,
giving Oscar the briefcase. Too
I,
much fun. Pop. And you got caught up.
I just assumed she took a pill for that.
You
uh,
know that's illegal now. That's illegal. That's why we need to vote.
Huh?
That's illegal in a lot of states now. That's why you gotta. That's why we gotta vote.
We're getting off
let's
topic.
see.
What's the next question for freaking?
No, I was just say last question about Charlotte was: do you all think that she retires with WWE? Do you see her ever going
Oh
anywhere
yeah.
else?
Yeah, she ain't going nowhere else. She don't see
Hey,
what her dad done been a prime example of what not to do.
Oh wait, were we talking about Charlotte or Becky?
Charlotte.
Charlotte.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see her
Does
going
she
nowhere.
retire?
I think
Right.
she'd have the best run of her career if she were to leave for AEW immediately. But she's
Rhea
not
is
gonna.
27 years old. So just FYI.
But
Uh,
if she
Charlotte would
leaves,
have the best. Sorry, Timmy. You said Charlotte would have the best run of her career if she left for AEW right now.
Yeah.
okay, not because I love AEW that it's gonna hurt that I have to say this. But it seems like everybody who go over there get injured. They don't have
That's
long shelf lives over there. So would I
There are
risk
a lot
my
of matches
body?
over there I'd love to see with Charlotte, though. There's a
But
lot of people over there that would be.
I want to blame out AEW. I feel like people be feeling themselves and be doing stuff to get them injured. A la
It,
Adam
it's
Copeland doing a freaking
Yeah.
straight leg jump off a cage. Like, sir, you've
It's
never done this in life. Why
it's not
are you
like
doing
Tony
this
Khan's
now?
walking around the back with a badge just popping people in the kneecaps. Like,
Listen, listen, you have to at a certain point. Okay, if I know ALW has injured himself 6 times walking down the steps, I would not let him walk down the steps anymore. Okay, you know that you got a lot of injury prone people
they're
because
getting
that's the reason
mysterious.
why some of them didn't stay with WWE because WWE bubble wrapped them. And then you bring them over here and you want them to jump, fly, cartwheel, slip, and all of a sudden they can't do it no more. And then it's like, well, I didn't expect that to happen. We all expected that to happen.
Yeah,
We all expected that to happen.
it's one of those fine line things though, right? Because like it's we get the best moments when these guys are left to do what they want to do when they want to do it. And WWE wouldn't let them do that, and Tony is allowing them to do that. Right or wrong, Tony's letting these guys do what they want to do. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes they get injured. But at least they're doing what they want to do in theory, right? I mean, which is something they were held back from doing in other companies. So
Listen, I might want to blow somebody's kneecaps off. Don't mean I should, okay? That's the thing. You can think about it, but doesn't mean you need to do it. At a
no,
certain
I know.
point, somebody needs to restrain it. There needs to be a restraint at a certain point.
I know Dolores would be happy to have that conversation with most people, but me personally, like, I'm not real anxious to try to tell Tanahashi, you can't wrestle anymore, dude, or
Oh
try to
yeah, I
tell
tell them.
somebody, bro, you can't wrestle anymore, or whoever it is, like, you need to retire. I'm not really interested in trying to have that
Somebody
conversation
should
with
say that
someone.
to Ric
So,
Flair 10 times ago. Okay? Somebody should have told Ric Flair that 10 times ago. Somebody should told Vince that. Somebody should tell it's always somebody that should have said something at a certain point. Soraya, we tried to tell you, but nobody listened. It's like nobody would it, first of all, again, prime example of Tony likes to pick up broken things. I love Jeff Hardy. But he left WWE because he wouldn't follow the rules to get the help he needed. Then when he got over to AEW, he still was doing the crazy stuff he was doing over at WWE, and then everybody was shocked, like, you need to go get some help. Yeah, we tried to tell you that.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you, ALW, about. I'm not one to say that like a wrestler like needs to retire, but I am the type to say Naito's not as good as he was 2 years ago.
Yes. Needs to stop.
I mean, I think that's fair to say. I mean, if you want to stay and be in front of the crowd, then you have to take the criticism that comes along with staying past your prime. So if you're okay with that, then that's fine. But you're gonna get critiqued. I mean, it just is what it is.
But
I
they
mean,
live in a
you're right.
world and they head where they don't do nothing wrong. I want to tell you something as a kid that I wish somebody had told this man to stop a long time ago. If somebody had told Sid Vicious to stop, I wouldn't have saw his legs snap in half like a Twizzler.
Yeah, that might very well be true.
But it's the moments where somebody don't tell somebody to stop that they get injured or hurt in the ring, and I have to look at it on live TV where I'm like, also, Kevin Nash, I'm mad at you not because of what you said, but because the fact that for 3 weeks straight, I had to watch that slow mo clip of you playing that man leg snapping like that, like it snapping to a Slim Jim over and over and over, and then you slowed it down even slower each week.
I
Kevin Nash,
mean,
that statement
I
about Benoit,
I take offense to what he said.
yeah, about Benoit Guerrero, that's terrible. I mean, it's
Like,
just a terrible, terrible take.
like as much as like I like Kevin Nash, he's never been half the wrestler as Eddie Guerrero. He's only been twice the size.
It's not only a bad take, but it's a really poor analogy. Like, so it's a bad take to say that wrestling was, ended or fucked over, fell apart when these two guys that were, 5'5" were wrestling for your title, whatever. But then to compare it to like having a 3-inch penis in a porno, it's like, dude, it's a bad take to a terrible analogy. It's like you can't you double down and made
But
it
you
just
know
worse,
what?
twice as bad. It's like,
I watched the podcast after that when
geez.
he had the criticism, and he was just like, I just really wanted to say some shit to get some views. But when I do it, it's wrong. When everybody else do it, it's okay. I was dying laughing. I was like, you all day. He's like, but when I talk smack, I get in trouble. Everybody up in arms. I've heard people say far worse than I did. And it's like, okay. And I was like, so you admit that you just said some shit to be said. You were he said podcasting. You admit you said something just to be saying something. And now you see the repercussions. I think he even lost like a brand deal. He was just like, I said what I said. I was like, okay, at a certain point, we got to admit that sometimes podcasting will get you in trouble. I mean, I podcasted, not lied, but I podcasted and said some stuff that I was like, you know what, I should have just kept that to myself. That's what I should have kept that to. But you know, that's why I said I always, when people say messed up things, I listen to what they say afterwards. If you double, triple, like he did say, I don't care what y'all think, but I was podcasting and podcasting and podcasting. I can understand that because you thought I lost my brand deal, I'm losing subscribers. I'm gonna go balls to the walls with this. And he was giggling when he said it, so I can understand that. He's not a trash human being. See, that's the line I cross. When you take your hot takes into real life and you are a trash human being, that's the moment I go, okay, I can't mess with you. But if you take your trash, like I don't like Disco Inferno. Okay?
Sure.
Because he's taking his trash takes
Into real life.
It's a real life. Conan has not taken some of his trash takes into real life. And I believe that's just him, as they say, podcasting. There's a point where you podcast. There are some people we know who podcast and they like to scream, holler, shout, and but that's not who they are. Because you meet them in the street, that ain't what they go do. You see what I'm saying? So if that's the difference. I think I can separate the two. You can be a good wrestler and not a trash human being. Now, what makes me mad is when you're both. When you're a trash wrestler and a trash human being. Nothing nobody can tell me as an adult can tell me that red and yellow man, trash human being, get to wrestle because his only move was a leg drop and him tearing his shirt apart. Nobody can tell me that was a devastating move, the leg drop.
So you mentioned Conan, and you reminded me like years ago, like having a little online argument with Conan because Roman Reigns was the reason. And I said Roman Reigns' entrance to the ring was longer than all the women's matches on SmackDown combined. And he replied with, but Roman's a star. I was like, well, I guess all the women in WWE aren't stars, is what it is.
They're stars. Okay, listen, I slightly, back in the day, could understand that take. Because Roman is the man you want to be, and the women want to F him, okay? So you got two different people. And some men, I mean, I'm not going to exclude you, some men want to do him. And so that makes him, well, people will buy his stuff. If you've seen WrestleMania, they getting tattoos of his logo. They are going crazy. Tell me how many times people got Charlotte tattooed on them. Tell me how many times that people are trying to jump gates or scream or faint it when they saw Charlotte in the crowd. Like they don't do that stuff, and I hate that because I want the women to be better. I'm a woman, but again, I look at women like Charlotte, and I'm like, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be Tiffany Stratton. That's not what I want to be. I don't want to look like that. I don't want to be that. You have to have the quality of somebody I mean, no offense, but most men want to be Roman Reigns. They want to look like that. They want to look like that. They want women screaming and hollering for them like that too. The man can't go nowhere.
Honestly, the only woman in WWE who I think people might have tattoos of is probably Alexa Bliss. because of that freaking doll.
Yes, they got the little doll. Yeah,
Mhm.
yes, and she's an attractive girl, but that doll is not. It's like, well, how come I dog? I'm like, I don't want to look like that. You got to have the likability. People want to be you, and people want to be with you. You got to have both of them.
But I don't think that
we
there's tattoos of any other woman in WWE. Not
We
even
know
Becky
Sammy
Lynch.
has a Rhea Ripley tattoo. It says Rhea Ripley on his back, or property of Rhea Ripley on your back, right?
The only tattoo I have says Ohana, and Ohana means family.
What's her name? Issa. Issa has the Roman Reigns tattoo. She look at Issa. Look at her. She shouldn't have to give this man tattoo. Listen, me are climbing after Issa, and she went out there and got a Roman Reigns tattoo. She screams online all the time. My tribal chief. How? Come on. You got grown men screaming, my tribal chief, throwing their ones in the air. And they are grown old men. Been married 65 years. Number one tribal chief buying, as soon as his merch come out, buying it.
I'm good. I don't get it. I mean, I understand the aesthetic appeal, but beyond that, I just don't get it. I just don't get it.
I don't
But
even
it's
think
not for me to get.
ALW loves Charlotte. He ain't gonna run up and just faint and just.
No, hell no.
He ain't gonna do all that now. Come on now.
No.
The women don't get that same type of love.
Unfortunately, to a certain extent, women and men do react a little differently in those situations. I mean, it's terrible to say, but there is it does seem that way.
I've seen grown men fan out over Roman Reigns.
Oh yeah,
I've seen grown men fan out about The
fan
Rock.
out over some people before, for sure. Just other people. I mean, just random people. Random celebrities. But yes, I have seen it before. So.
I will stand by my complaint though of like having two women's matches that only run 3 minutes, and then Roman Reigns gets like a 4 or 5 minute entrance. It's like
Now, also there have been times before, not caping, but sometime before, but them 3 or 4 women matches, I've been sitting there like, it's time for me to go to the bathroom. This ain't good. Get up and walk off. Okay. There are times where listen, the only time that I've had to like sit through a match that I'm like, I can't stand this is when I'm on Workhorse Wrestling Network doing the watch along. Other than that, I get the hell up. Listen, some of the matches have been atrocious in the past. Atrocious. Shouldn't have been on TV, shouldn't have been on a pre-show, shouldn't have been on the 0 hour, shouldn't have been on nothing. Now, men have the matches too, but somehow everybody accepts them, aka PCO, AJ Francis. That match shouldn't have been on nobody's channel nowhere. Nobody's channel nowhere.
I remember this one match. It was Athena versus Bailey, and she was Ember Moon at the time. But I remember thinking, like, the match ended, like the match just started getting good. Like we're like 10 minutes in. Like, why'd you end the match already? Like it was just picking up steam.
Again, you said 10 minutes in. 10 minutes in, everybody done got up and started walking away. If you got to give me a 10-minute, like I understand 5 minutes, you might have some grappling, then we get into some other things. But if it gotta take you 10 minutes to even warm the car, I'm back in the house and I close the door and got into bed. Is it?
So before, just real quick, does anyone else have a news story or something they came across that they wanted to talk about?
Oh, did y'all talk about the Motor City Machine Guns coming to WWE?
We did not. We did not. What do you guys think about that? What's your take on that?
They're kind of old.
They're kind of old. They're kind of small. I mean, I guess it's for what it's worth. Triple H is a new era for WWE, so we'll see. But they're old. They're small. I don't know. I mean,
they had a banger match against each other. The week before last, they faced each other.
Yeah, they've had a bunch of banger matches against each other over the years because they've had that feud over the years. Yeah, I mean, and they're both still in really good condition. They can still really go. I don't know how they. First of all, WWE. I mean, the tag team scene in WWE is down, so they would help in that regard because they're a solid tag team and everybody knows them. But I just don't know. I mean, I don't see any storyline for them that I'm interested in. Now, obviously, if it's well written, you can get me interested. But just off top, there really isn't anybody I can think of that I'm like, oh yeah, I want to see them versus those guys. Like, I
It's
mean, it'd be cool to
another
see them.
OC for NXT. That's all it is. Another OC.
But as
That's
my good
probably
brother
true.
said, I'm not there for getting their money. Listen, if I ain't seen that type of money in my life, oh, it's time for me to get it. It is time
100%.
for me to get it.
100%. 100%. No, and like I said, I mean, I've said on this channel numerous times, even with how good AEW's doing and what TNA's done in the past. Well, TNA is probably not fair, but you know, the top of the pinnacle is still WWE for a lot of these people. So, if you get an opportunity, even if it's not the money, which it probably is, it doesn't hurt. You want to take that chance, so So here's a chance. I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't do it, but at the same time, I we'll see how it goes. I mean, I'll be curious to see how it goes.
Well, it's also a bit of a test too, like because like when LA Knight first started in on NXT, he took a massive pay cut to what NWA was paying him, and NWA don't pay that well. Like I
Sure.
can't imagine they were paying him all that much, but he said he took a major pay cut going to NXT.
Right.
But
Yeah.
2 years in, they issued him a new contract that for him to sign, where he was making like more than 10 times as much as what he was making in NXT.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. That should be a clown of the week. Tired of you fans asking for that as soon as you get it, you don't want it no more. Oh my god! I just want to see. We gotta see. Let me pick a person. Ava, she has to wrestle. We gotta see her, and then she wrestled, and y'all like, we don't like it. We don't want to see it no more. That's how y'all do everybody. That's why at this point, Triple H should be like, hey, you want this? I'm gonna do the opposite. Okay, I'm doing it for your own good. Because if LA Knight wins the championship, we're gonna go what 2-3 weeks? Yeah, yeah, go, let's go. And then the third week, y'all gonna be like, can we strip him of the title? Can somebody get it? Can Brian get it? Can somebody get it?
Wrestling fans, yeah, wrestling fans are definitely fickle. There's no doubt about that. I mean, the thing is, but we're also been trained to a certain extent because, especially a lot in WWE, you get a lot of 3-week, 1-month runs, and that's it. I mean, so I think we've been kind of trained too, to a certain extent. So, Anika, what about you? Are you there? You got any comment on the Motor City Machine Guns in WWE?
Yeah.
She's like, no,
All right.
hell, but
I'll say this: if they go to the WWE, I'll be very, very surprised. I will be very, very surprised. There's a couple of banger matches, but I do think they're just well suited for AEW. I think I don't see them retiring anytime soon. Maybe another good 3 to 5 years, right? I think they'll be best wrestled in AEW.
Yeah.
I would want them to go to I would say AEW would be the best suit, but again, this goes into the Stephanie Vercure of it all. I've been here. Y'all ain't asked me about nothing. So I'm gonna go where they asking for me.
Yeah. All right. Anything else we want to touch on?
We about to get up out of here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask a question, but it's fine.
Go ahead.
I mean, great. Okay.
At what age should wrestlers be retiring? Because like
the moment you jump off the rope and it looks bad, that's the moment you should stop. Tanahashi, every time you jump off the rope, it's no high fly flow. I'd be like, high fly, no, don't do this.
So what I'm hearing is AJ Francis should have retired like 5 years ago.
Yes.
No.
Or never got into wrestling. Maybe no, I don't want to say that, but
I would have said that. But that's just me. He can't wrestle. He got through the ropes, and it looks like he's about to hurt himself every single time. Him and PCO should have stopped a long time ago. Okay, the moment you got them both,
PCO.
Ric Flair, way before that last match, when you almost unalived yourself multiple times. It should be a time where somebody, your friend, your family should look at you and go, "This is it. Stop it."
Like he had the feud with Joe Hendry, and that was the highlight of his entire career. Like
Being
I don't.
carried by somebody is his highlight of his career. Because the promos, he does good. ALW, remember him against the Boomaye Club? That was
Yeah.
horrible. He's
Mhm.
been horrible everywhere he went, India not. I'm tired of y'all people thinking just because he go to the Indies that all of a sudden they get better. No, they get worse. We see him every week do the worst of the worst of the worst stuff. Karen Cross was lame.
Right.
Y'all thinking that the Maharaja is back in form. He's still out there. Him gonna. I'm like, shut the hell up and get the mic out of his head.
But it's obviously a loaded question, right? It's clearly the right answer is on a case by case basis, and they each their own to a certain extent, right? So it all depends. Like if you come to the game late, let's say you don't come to wrestling until 25 or 30 or whatever, then maybe you have a longer time frame. At some point though, when it comes to any kind of physical sport at the top levels, your body breaks down after a certain age. It just does. You slow down, you just aren't physically capable of doing the things that you were doing before, no matter how good a shape you're in. So there is a natural point age wise where I just think Father Time catches up to you. I would say that's somewhere between 45 and 50. That's where most people seem to slow down. Now, that depends. If you've been wrestling since you were 10 years old, that comes a lot sooner in wrestling years. Like 35, you
No,
might be you might be ready because you've been taking a beating for 15 or 20 years. You know what I'm saying?
I
So it all
think
just depends.
I
Also,
think how you take care of your body. Also, we are a prime example. Rey Mysterio, them stem cells be working. Okay. Now, if you willing to go get the help you need to help you so you can do what you got to do, then great. If not, you gonna have to stop.
I also think it depends on the kind of matches you do. If your career is Texas death matches, it's going to be probably shorter than it is if you're doing, regular old one-on-one normal style matches on, Rampage or whatever. So I mean, it all just depends, I think, to a certain extent. But I mean, and beyond that, I'm not the kind of person, not just because I don't want to have that conversation, because I don't. The reason I don't want to have that conversation is because I believe you can't tell somebody when to stop. They're the only people that can decide when to stop. And if someone's still willing to pay them, if someone's still willing to fucking pay Ric Flair to wrestle and he still wants to wrestle, he's got his
No.
right until he's breathing, until he's not breathing anymore to do that. As long as someone's willing to
I
pay him to
shouldn't
do
have to
it.
watch a pay-per-view and then get to his match and be like, Lord have mercy. I'm gonna get on my knees. Jesus, please let this man live through this match.
But it's
Okay.
like anything you don't like, you have a choice to just not watch it, right? I mean,
But if
you
I
don't
paid
have to
40 or
watch it.
$50 for a good pay-per-view and he just happened to be on it, it's not fair. It's not
Yeah.
fair.
No,
And every so often there is a wrestler who is just fantastic, even in their older ages.
sure.
Like it's rare, but like Dustin
Sting.
Rhodes, like
Minoru
Billy Gunn,
Suzuki.
like I will watch any of their fights. Like yeah,
Yeah.
Minoru
But
Suzuki.
also, we have to start telling the truth now. Jeff the Swan ain't swanning like it used to. It look like you just look like me jumping off the top rope. It's not working no more. Matt,
Yeah.
please stop it. Please. Please. You look like you hurt it. And I need you to stop.
Yeah. I don't
When
know. I
it
mean,
has me to look at you, it should stop. It should be a point where you look at your own match and be like, I had to take a breather before I stood up. Yeah, I should stop. Yeah, it should stop.
that I agree with. I mean, I think they probably all need more self awareness. The problem is you probably don't get to be a major superstar in a sport like wrestling being super self-aware. I mean, you have pretty much tunnel vision and a type A personality where you think you could do anything you want at any time,
People,
and I'm untouchable, basically. You know what I'm saying? So all
the
those guys
fans
think
don't
they're the
help it.
best. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's a really tough situation. That's a really loaded question for me. I think father time wise, 45 or 50 is where most wrestlers, depending on how long you've been wrestling, should start looking in the mirror and saying this is probably time to move on to something less
And
athletic.
but you have to
Now,
remember, us as
if you
fans
can
don't help it.
if you can talk, if you can book, if you can still coach, by all means, continue to work in wrestling until the day you die. I don't care if you can give a good promo, be a manager. If you can fucking work backstage and help book matches and you're good at it, by all means, work till you die. But I don't need to see you in the ring wrestling anymore after you physically can't do it.
But again, It's people wanting they want what they want.
Yeah.
The online sentiment after it was said, Brian Danielson is gonna have to take a break because he injured so bad until he can have his match. And people go, but he still can make the match. That's a problem.
Right. Yeah.
I worry
Yeah.
about this man's safety. He got kids to go home to.
Yep. I mean, I mean, that's right. Fan is short for fanatical. We always care more than they do. That's one of the things. I mean, it drives me nuts. You hear guys like LeBron or whoever it is say something like, "Oh, it's only a Jokic, Nikola Jokic, two-time MVP, two-time NBA champion, said it's just a basketball game. I'm ready to go home when they lost in the playoffs. I'm ready to go home. The season's over. It's just a game. Really, that's basically what he said. And it's like, well, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, no, I mean, if I'm a fan, I'm over here fucking screaming my heart out, and I want you to care as much as I do, but they don't. I mean, it's a job to them, and it's got to be that way a lot for wrestlers too. They just, it is what it is, but it's not all of who they are, and it's always more important to us than it is to them in some regards. So,
And also another thing is a lot of people who are fans that do play, like they're probably not playing on the team that they're actually a fan of.
yeah, yep, there's that too.
Well, ladies
So,
and gentlemen, we're about to get on out of here. I'm gonna run through this real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, on Mondays you have seen stars at 10 a.m. with me and Jay News. Right now we're pre-recording. You know, life is life, and so we got to pre-record. But one of us will always be in the chat to talk to you. Tuesdays you're here at 10:30 for the cookout. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I made a rare appearance. Sorry, it's thunder and lightning. I didn't want to turn my camera on and that thing just go out. But 10:30 with ALW, Anika and Sammy Joe. Our good girl CM. She'll be back soon, okay? Don't know how, don't know when. CM will be back again. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, no shows on Wednesday, Thursday, but Friday we have Friday Night Fights with Sammy and Anika, the two at the bottom. They will be having a good time watching SmackDown and Rampage. Saturday morning, at what time ALW do the Winter Circle come on?
7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern.
10 a.m. Eastern, you have the Winter Circle where they go over Dynamite, NXT, Raw. So make sure you're there. Also, ladies and gentlemen, this weekend is the third, right?
Yep.
It is.
Okay.
SummerSlam.
SummerSlam. We'll be doing a watch along starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's from my understanding because they'll be here in America.
Yep.
And Sunday is Enter the Square Circle at 11 a.m., right? Yes,
Yep.
I remember that.
Or yeah.
Make sure you catch us on all social medias. Here we are. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I ain't got to lean over for this. But here's the horsey. Make sure you scan the car code. A horsey. To get to all our social medias. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to change this around because from my understanding, Google Podcast is no more as of July 29th. So we will update all the new platforms that we are on. Also, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check out playlists that helps us get our watch hours, and especially the retro watch along with Sammy and ALW. They have some new ones coming out soon. Also, watch alongs. Go to the YouTube audio app. You can listen to us while you're driving, riding, or doing whatever. But if you're doing some extracurricular night activities, I don't think this is the mood playlist for you. Okay. So anybody got something they want to say before we get up out of here?
No, ma'am. Just peace.
Bye.
Peace.